Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Matt Tebow from Stacked, and I am joined right now by GG top laner Niles. How are you doing, man?
Doing okay. Just took a lost 100 Thieves, but feeling all right.
For sure. So, speaking of that game, I want you to walk me through it. How do you feel like your team did that game, and what do you feel like your matchup was like? I saw you gave Quinn her first pick or ban, either or, of the entire tournament. How do you feel about that matchup as well?
I think that the matchup is pretty heavily Quinn favored, and I was happy with the way that I played early. Like her biggest weakness is if there's a lot of people like ganking her, she can't really like escape that well. If like there's people coming from a bunch of different angles. So I think as a team we played the first 10 minutes pretty well, and we got some advantages. I think that one of the things that we're struggling with right now, just as a team collectively, is how we play as a five man. And like whenever there's a dragon fight or stuff like that, I think we don't exactly know what to do with each other. So I think that's basically where the game broke down. Yeah, and then the Quinn pick into Renekton, it's just a lane counter, but also a side lane counter. You scale pretty well into Renekton, and my best counters were banned out in the 4-5, or like the more traditional counters, I guess I should say, not like my best counters because I'm very comfortable on Quinn. But usually people pick Gnar or GP, but they ban that right after they pick through Renekton.
Yeah, that's interesting. You bring up Gnar. I wanted to talk to someone about Gnar, and here we are. We have a top laner. How do you feel about how Gnar's done this entire tournament? Because a lot of people are like memeing Mini Gnar on Twitter that like Mini Gnar gets attacked early and then he becomes useless. Like, what do you think about all that?
Yeah, so I mean, I think Gnar is just a situational pick. I think that people are blinding him when he's not blindable. Like the champion itself is very vulnerable to counter picks. So I think it makes sense when people are picking Gnar into Renekton, for example, because it's a lane counter. It's similar to Quinn, where you play range form, you can disengage, all that sort of stuff. So I think the champion is just good situationally, but people are just picking it randomly, and I think that's why most of the time it gets flame.
Hmm. So, moving on from that, how do you feel like you guys are meshing together as a team? Like, I know you and Iconic were college teammates, so there's obviously some kind of synergy there, but how do you feel? How are you guys incorporating yourselves in the rest of the team?
Yeah, so I think we're all gelling pretty well. I think like we're not just a bunch of like gamers like that have no life experience, like we have done things outside of esports, which I think leads us to get along pretty well. I haven't had this experience personally, but I've heard stories of, teams where the only thing someone does their entire life is just play League of Legends, and you put them in an environment where they have to like fend for themselves and they have to have life skills and they just don't have those, but our team is pretty blessed that we have five people who know how to interact with each other, and I think we mesh pretty well. Yeah.
Hmm. And as for your team, how does it feel being in your LCS debut? How do you feel like the tournament's gone in that regard for you so far?
I think that the tournament has gone okay. I think we're playing better and putting up more of a fight than people expect, especially in the early game. I just think that whenever it comes to team fighting and around neutrals, especially, we are struggling. So I think the tournament for us has been a success so far because whatever problems you're having in practice are amplified whenever there's more pressure put on you. So yeah, the tournament's gone well, and hopefully in our best of three we can improve on things that we worked on, and yeah, take it from there.
For sure. Out of all the top laners in the LCS, where do you rank yourself?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I think different top laners can do different things better. Okay, so I think that I'm one of the better top laners at um, telling my team how they need to play around me and what they need to do when I'm ahead. I think I'm really good at that, but I think I'm one of the worst top laners when it comes to if I'm being attacked, fending off those attacks. I think like you saw that today. I think whenever I was getting four-manned or three-manned, it was a problem for me. So I think it just depends on you know, what the situation is. I think I'm better in some situations and I'm worse than others in other situations.
Yeah, I think Aniro, when we spoke last week, he talked about how you like to bully your lane opponent for the most part.
Yeah.
Do you try to build your team comps like in draft today? Did you try to build around the fact that you were going to try and bully Renekton out of lane a little bit, or was that something that
Um,
just kind of happened organically?
I think, well, that's the reason I picked Quinn just as a counter pick.
Hmm.
So I don't think that the team comp was built around the Quinn pick though, because if we were playing a Quinn comp, usually you want two solo lanes who can side lane. So like Set, for example, isn't a good side laner.
Hmm.
So I don't think the comp was necessarily built around Quinn, but we have in the past, like our Camille Galio comp is built around, obviously Camille and Galio working together. I don't think this game specifically, but we often do draft around that, yeah.
All right, one last question. What can Golden Guardians fans expect from you guys going forward?
A lot of crazy aggressive games where I don't think anyone's afraid in our team to punish mistakes. Where we don't play scared. There's people who don't have the highest expectations, but I think that they'll be surprised with how well we play.
All right, awesome. Thanks again. Thanks a lot. Once again, we have Niles, the top laner from Golden Guardians. This is Matt Tebow with Stacked. You can find our articles at stacked.gg, and you can follow us on our socials at stackedLOL. Thanks again for your time, Niles, and have a good night, man, and good luck in the playoffs.
Thank you for the interview.